Hey friend, welcome to Grounded, the vestibular podcast. I'm Dr. Madison Oak, aka the Vertigo Doctor. I am the vestibular physical therapist who is here to help you with all things dizziness, imbalance, and vertigo. In this podcast, we explore the fascinating world of vestibular disorders. Come with me as we dive headfirst into a journey to discover the mysteries of the brain, the inner ear, and the balance mechanisms that keep us grounded. Whether you've been managing dizziness for one day or 25 years, we're going to get real about what it takes to manage dizziness, handle the anxiety cycle, and thrive, not just survive, with your vestibular disorder. First, I want to remind you that this is never medical advice. Remember, this podcast is for informational purposes only and may not be the best fit for you and your personal situation. It shall not be construed as medical advice. The information and education provided here is not intended or implied to supplement or replace professional medical treatment, advice, and or diagnosis. Always check with your own physician, medical professionals, and healthcare team before trying or implementing any information found here. Hello, and welcome back to Grounded. My name is Dr. Madison Oak, and today's win of the week is actually going to be wins of the week. I always search for the wins in Vestibular Group Fit, obviously, to find some to read to you guys. And this podcast obviously is about driving, and I just typed in the word drove to like the Facebook search function, and 3 phenomenal ones that all happened within like 4 days of each other popped up. So let's read them all. The first one is Gretchen. She says, I did it. I drove to pick my husband up from the airport, 2 hours round trip, continual driving, and lots of traffic to and from. I had quite a bit of anxiety going into it, but did breath work and used lavender oil, did lots of talking to distract me. My sister came with me, and now I'm back home and grounding. I feel a little bit of bobbing and swaying, but it's not too bad, thank God. I did it. Thank you, Dr. Madison Oak. This is amazing because she has been a member of group for less than 6 weeks, like not that long of a time when I'm reading this to you. Like, today is August 22nd, and I think she's been a member since probably 3 weeks ago, actually, like the beginning of August, because it was halfway through the challenge. So congratulations to Gretchen, really is my point. She's also driven in the middle of the night, driven to her sister to go different places, her husband to the airport, which is what I'm assuming she's picking him up from, all over the place. She's like a driving machine. Go girl. All right, the next one is by Ryan, and he on like day one was like, I'm having a hard time setting myself some goals. I have all of these things that I want to be able to do, and one of them was to be able to drive. And because driving slash even quote touching his car, things like that were all big deals. So let's read this one that just popped up as well. It says, I drove on Monday until I got dizzy and then I went home. Pushed myself a little more than I should have, but I grounded myself and I did it. Today I got hungry, so I drove to Taco Bell, which is something that's somewhat close to my house, about a mile away. Apparently, hunger and wanting nothing at home is a good push that I needed. Learning to know and slightly push myself out of my comfort zone is important when it's safe. Yesterday, I went to leave and then I told myself I'm safe and I rested, and today I tried again. I love this so much because it's an amazing way to maintain and to think about the mindset of progress, because progress, yes, is I'm going to push myself out of my comfort zone a little bit, do it in a comfortable way, do it in a way that makes it reasonable for you, things like that. And also, it says, I'm going to try again if today is not my day. And I absolutely love that. So congratulations to Ryan, who has been a member for about 3-ish months and had been previously bedbound for months to a year. Last but not least is Vivian, who says, I was able to drive over 3 hours to one of my favorite beaches in Northern California. I splurged and stayed in a few wonderful hotels. I love that. Tears of joy and relief came over me as my feet touched the sand. Last summer, I could barely drive around the block. Improvement is slow, but it sure is possible. I still had some strange feelings and thoughts about this trip, but I tried not to engage much and kept going. I felt it. I said my mantra. I had my medication and toolkit as needed. I'm grateful to this group to help me see the light during the tough times, celebrate those small steps. And then she attached a picture of the beach, which is flippin' gorgeous. All three of these people are not the only people to have ever driven in Vestibular Group Fit, but they are three people who have done an amazing job with using the content, applying it, and setting the goals that they want to meet. So congratulations to the three of them and everyone else in group who is truly crushing it on driving and doing all of the other things. All right, let's get into the episode, which I'm sure you can gather by now is about tips for driving. First, I want to let you know that when you are driving, or if you have questions about driving or travel or what have you, we have an entire module on just driving. There's another one about visual vertigo. There's another one about traveling, being a passenger while driving, all sorts of different things. So if you have questions about driving, that is where they got all the information about driving, if that makes sense, and how a big part of how they returned to driving. Obviously, you have to do the basics first, go through that, and then you can kind of do it like function by function. But here are some tips for driving with a vestibular disorder because you guys ask me literally constantly. So let's talk about them. The first one is to choose a good time of day, both for your baseline as well as when you're considering light. Like if you are just like trying to start returning to driving, you probably don't want to do so at a time where you're having a hard time in the middle of an attack, in a big flare, when it's like kind of dusk outside and hard to see. None of those are probably the best idea. So set yourself up for success. Only drive when your symptoms are kind of stable, you feel safe, you know that you have a toolkit with you, etc. And if you're in a flare, please delay or get a ride. Choose the best time of day. So times when your symptoms are usually lighter. So maybe you have better mornings, maybe you have better afternoons. Everyone is different. If you are watching this on YouTube and you can see Tugboat, I don't even know what to tell you. We were just at the river running and he is like on one. I don't know. Anyway, avoid peak triggers when you're fatigued, hungry, or after like a long screen time session, a long day at work. That is not the best time to try and return to drive. First, sit in the car. Just sit in the car. Can I sit in the car comfortably and build my tolerance to that? Or do I have trouble even thinking about going to get in the car? If you have trouble even thinking about going to get in the car, then going and driving around is probably not the best idea, right? Get in the car, then gradually build your steps forward and your confidence. So like remember how to shift your car into drive, neutral, reverse. Practice looking behind you, practice checking your mirrors, things like that. Sit in an optimal position. So adjusting the seat, making sure that like you are comfortable in the space. Some people, I just learned this, don't adjust the seat in their car when they get in. So if you are a person who does not adjust the seat in their car when they get in, please stop that. Please, please, please adjust the seat. Feel comfortable. And you could even adjust the seat while you're not in the seat, which can be more comfortable as well, because then you won't have that kind of like false movement, weird feeling. All right, my next tip for you is going to be using visual anchors. So focus on the road horizon rather than continuously like scanning. Yes, scanning side to side is important. Yes, that is something you're going to have to be able to do. But at the end of the day, staring straight ahead, looking at the horizon, things like that, always going to be best case scenario for you. Next tip is going to be limiting sensory overload. So wearing sunglasses outside, wearing your tinted Avalux glasses or other tinted lenses, keeping the car quiet and calm, making sure you don't have any strong scents, which I don't think any of you do, but if you do, take them out. No loud music. Sometimes people find like calming music, like classical or something without words can be really helpful. But if it's distracting, just turn it off. Do not stress about like being able to listen to music and sing in the car and things like that yet. You're just returning to figuring out how to drive. Next is being careful with head turns. So use your mirrors, practice quick head turns outside of the car, then practice them in your car before you're moving, and then practice them as you move. Start with back roads, like near your house or something like that, unless you live on the freeway, which would be pretty wild. But practice um, driving somewhere that is more safe, or even having someone drive you to a safer spot and then practicing there. So like school parking lots on the weekend, college campuses in the summer, um like stadium parking lots like for um trying to think of the word. I'm about to say toddler, but that's not the right word. Um like T-ball and Little League baseball stadium, like stuff like that. Places with big parking lots, is what I'm trying to say, are the best places to try and practice driving again, usually. And then your neighborhood, and then a little bit of a busier road, and kind of just working your way up. You know where you live, you know where the busy roads are, you know where the slow roads are. Take that into account. Have a pullover plan. So know kind of where you're going, identify safe places to stop in case the dizziness gets worse, and then keep a grounding kit with you: water, ginger juice, sunglasses, earplugs, rescue meds, the things that you might need. So if you do need to pull over, you can use those things. Some people really like to keep a rubber band on their wrist, and if they feel like they're like dissociating or something like that, they can snap it, snap it, snap it. And snapping it can kind of help bring you back into your body in a kind of like gentle but very direct way. And then don't push your limits. At the end of the day, your limits are your limits, and that is okay. You are allowed to have limits. This is why we say things like start low and go slow, practice first, etc. This is not about I'm just going to go all in and figure it out. This is all about slowly working your way up, driving yourself 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minutes. Everyone's like, I'm just going to drive for 25 minutes on the highway. And then if and when that doesn't go well the first time you try to drive in a year or a month or a week, that's going to train your brain to say like, oh yeah, this is too hard for us. Oh yeah, this is not going to go well for us. So start slow, start smaller than you think that you have to, and build up from there. More tips and tricks like this exist, of course, in Vestibular Group Fit. If you want to join us, use code GROUNDED at checkout for 15% off your first subscription cycle. If you have any questions, please let me know. I love you, and I will see you in the next episode of Grounded. Bye.